This
Let's call the
conference
meeting
will now be
to
recorded.
order. Welcome to Ocean Ridge Town Hall, April 1st. So we're all leaving right now. But could you call the roll? Thank you.
Commissioner Ayla,
Here.
Commissioner Hutchins,
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cos.
Here.
And Mayor Pugh.
Here. We please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. All right, we have the agenda in front of you. Are there any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to see us move the workshop with planning and zoning to May after we have our new boards in place, because there will be significant changes on those boards.
All right, so to the announcements will, Kelly, strike April 8th. And then you're having some other comments, right?
Mhm.
During your comments, you can suggest that date and then we'll change it then.
Okay.
Okay?
And can I just make an announcement too about Starbright, the art show that's going to be on
Absolutely.
May 2nd? There are flyers back here, but all of this art in here is done by local artists. It's all for sale. And we're going to be having an art show here on May 2nd from 5 to 8, open to the public. And we encourage anybody and everybody to come. Thank you.
All right, and you're going to have commissioner comments.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mayor, I have two commissioner comments as well.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, we'd like to move item number 10 down and make it 11A, but under the regular agenda items. That's the discussion on the compensation and class study,
Okay, so we'll just move 10 to
right
All right.
above 12. So
the regular agenda.
Yeah.
All right. Commissioner Allen, you'll be right after Colonel Cassidy.
I had a change too, didn't I?
that was the change
No,
you
you were
wanted, Commissioner Cos.
No, I was going to wait until we get to it. Okay.
All right, anything else? All right, hearing nothing else, anyone make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting carries. Okay, Kelly, can we move on to the presentations and proclamations?
Okay, after sweating bullets, I finally received the certification of election results. 2:30 this afternoon. So I just need somebody, or a motion to accept the results, and then I can swear everybody in.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. All right, you want us to stand up?
My three electees, stand up. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and then state your name,
Aye,
David Hutchins.
do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support,
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Florida
and the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic and foreign,
that I will bear true faith,
that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
that I am entitled to hold office
that I'm entitled to hold office
of the state of Florida,
of
the state of Florida,
that I will faithfully perform
that I will safely perform
all of the duties
all the duties
of the office of Town Commission
of the office of Town Commissioner
of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida,
of the town of the Ocean Ridge, Florida.
on which I'm about to enter. So
On which I'm about to enter.
that's all we got. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Moving on to announcements, Kelly?
The meeting schedule for the next month is as follows. The regular town commission meeting will be on Monday, May 6th, 2024 at 6 p.m. The community standards hearing on Tuesday, April 2nd at 10 a.m. The planning and zoning meeting on Tuesday, April 16th at 9 a.m. The Board of Adjustment meeting on Wednesday, April 17th at 9 a.m. And all meetings are held in the commission chambers at Town Hall. The Town Commission will consider appointments to the following board positions at the May 6th 2024 Town Commission meeting. Board of Adjustment, we have 2 regular members for a 3-year term. And Planning and Zoning Commission, we have 2 regular members for 3-year terms. Interested residents must be registered to vote in Ocean Ridge and submit a resume and letter of interest to the town clerk by the deadline of April 26th at 3 p.m. The town will be providing a free shredding service to residents of Ocean Ridge and Burning Breezes on Saturday, April 13th from 9 a.m. to noon in the back parking lot at Town Hall. For more information regarding this event, please visit the town's website. Residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through Civic Ready should sign up on the town website or call Town Hall for assistance. And we have one more announcement that's not on here. We have a new agenda software that allows you to be notified if an agenda is available, it's been posted, so we don't have to keep checking the website. It will notify you. You just go to our website, meetings and agendas, click subscriptions, and you can apply or subscribe to just town commission ones or to all meetings. And as soon as one is posted, they'll notify you.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, public comment.
Good evening, Commissioners, and Virginia Siggety, 33 Exora Way, obviously in Ocean Ridge. Having heard your quick announcement about the Starbright Foundation, I feel wonderful to be here on behalf of the Ocean Ridge Garden Club, which I believe are the only 2 nonprofits here in Ocean Ridge. So both wonderful organizations. I just wanted to read just a quick statement. On behalf of the Ocean Ridge Garden Club, we'd like to thank you, along with Chief McClure and Town Manager Lynn Lander, and their teams, who we've already thanked separately, but for your support of our inaugural Secret Gardens by the Sea garden tour on March 10th. What started as a small seed of an idea this past fall germinated and blossomed into a beautiful event that was enjoyed by many, and I hope that includes lots of you all who are here. The Ocean Ridge Garden Club was able to welcome over 100 guests to 10 gardens, including 3 public town spaces, Town Hall, obviously where they were welcomed, the Town Dune near Tropical, and the detention pond on Woolbright. And it exceeded our annual fundraising budget with this single primary fundraising event. Moreover, the tour embraced several facets of our mission by educating our members and the public, providing civic outreach, and engaging both our members and guests from the greater Barrier Island community in support of the various programs offered by the Ocean Ridge Garden Club. Because of the success and positive response to this year's event, we would like to see this become an annual spring fundraiser and welcome not only your continued partnership in ensuring a safe and enjoyable garden tour, but also any feedback as to how we might improve the event in the future. Thank you very much again for your support. It was wonderful.
We were number 10 on that list of gardens, and a lot of people showed up. I was very surprised. I thought we would be boycotted. Terry Brown, Harvard Rise South. I just wanted to congratulate the winners. Your commission didn't change, but as we know, the charter determines what length of service by a vote. So it served a purpose, and you're to be congratulated. Also, you are to be congratulated for passing the non-discrimination, I guess it's a resolution. I would like to have you print it out and put it up on your bulletin board as people come in. I think it's real important that it be shared. It was widely shared and widely appreciated by people who knew about it. And you might want to hear a little bit of history. Skip Randolph, John Randolph, who was Jones Foster and been the town attorney in Palm Beach for 100 years or whatever it is. He used to be our town attorney here in Ocean Ridge. And he's the head and chairperson of the Fellowship of Christian Jews. And the guy who built the dunes in Ocean Ridge, William Myers, is a very prominent person in the Jewish community and the Jewish Federation. Well, they recently got together and Mr. Myers got the award from the Fellowship of the Christian and the Jews. So you see, Ocean Ridge has a history, an important Palm Beach County history in that relationship. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Mr.
Good
Terry.
evening. Rick Carey, 39 Spanish River Drive. I'd like to also extend my congratulations on the winners of the recent election and thank all of you for serving in what can feel like a thankless job at times. I wanted to take a few minutes and share with you. I think all of you are aware that this month will be my last month in the Planning and Zoning Commission, and it's been an honor to serve. I appreciate all the support that the town commissioners have given me and the confidence they had in reappointing me to the position. I think the planning and zoning serves a very vital function for this town. We can only look to some of the things that happened before planning and zoning was able to take serious review of projects. And we're very fortunate to have the Planning and Zoning Commission we have now. We have 2 openings, and this is the reason I'm here, is to really encourage you to recruit quality people for the commission, people who are willing to serve and give their time, who have a background that fits this. And the background can be broad. Commissioner Hutchins served for a long time on the commission, and his background is not in real estate or development, but he certainly has a knowledge base and a technical base that fit well with being on the commission. I will help you if I can in any way in your recruitment. If you have anybody who you buttonhole and they say, what's it take to be a commissioner? I'm happy to have conversation with them, and we would encourage that. The other thing related to this is absenteeism or unavailability issues that we've had, particularly with alternates. We do not have a way to ask an alternate to leave. We appoint them for a term, and we have one individual who's been a very good alternate when he's been able to sit with us on the dais, but Kelly can tell you how many times he's been unavailable. And this past meeting, we met with only 3 commissioners. We have had one occasion where Commissioner Hutchins was to preside, and we weren't able to, they had to cancel the meeting and the people had to come back the next month. So the alternate role is very vital. And we have another alternate, Mark DeBattiste, who has been serving since David Hutchins left, and he has been excellent. And I would encourage you to appoint him to a permanent seat. And Shields Ferber, who has been the vice chair, I think is well prepared to chair the commission going forward.
Who's the alternate member that you suggest?
Beg your pardon?
Who's the ultimate member that you're suggesting?
I don't have one I'm suggesting.
No, yes, you did. The
Mark
one.
DeBaptiste.
What's that?
Mark
Two.
DeBaptiste.
Mark DeBaptiste?
Yeah, Batiste, yes.
He suggested
So
that he become
he is,
president.
since the first of the year, he's sat with us, hasn't missed a meeting, very knowledgeable. And he would, I think he is a definite good choice for the one of the 2 permanent positions.
So I'm getting a little confused on the math. It says there's 2 openings. Is that now, are you a 3rd opening or are you one of these 2?
No, there are 2 openings. Commissioner Hutchins and mine will be the 2
That's what I'm
openings.
saying. You're the
Yeah.
2nd.
But one, a good choice is the alternate that has been sitting
DeBaptiste,
there.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
I was the one that told him to join P&Z.
And what is it, aren't the alternates also appointed for a 3-year term? When you say
No,
it's
they're-
really
I
hard
think
to remove.
They're at least a 3-year term.
A 3-year term.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so, yeah, so we have one who hasn't been able to help Kelly when she needs
Well
him.
aware.
And so in a lot of ways, the alternate's the tougher job because you have to be available when others don't want to be here in the summer months and other times. And that's the challenge.
Well, thank you, Rick. I
Thank
appreciate that.
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
that.
it.
It's
Thank you.
helpful.
Betty Bailey, 20 Social Avenue. This is just a very quick request. And that is, when you all start to talk, would you please talk into the microphone? Because people that are getting dull and deaf like I am have a hard time hearing you when you're speaking to the side. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Ms. Cook?
Debbie Cook, 28 Tropical Drive. First of all, I want to thank you guys for working on the sign ordinance. And I think it was not intended to be happening as the way it is. I thank you for getting people together in the placement of the sign. That seems, like makes sense. And I have also discovered that you can write anything you want on the sign. That's freedom of speech. But now with 6 signs okayed, I think, is that correct, for Turtle Beach? I think 1 on each corner.
4, 2 at the toe of the dune, and 1 on the Old Ocean side of their path.
On that one on, okay, right now, on the corners along the road, there are signs that are the 6 to 7 feet. I don't think they're at the proper height. And from Old Ocean, it says, no trespassing private beach beyond this point. And that's a high sign. On the other side of that sign, when I'm facing Tropical Drive and Turtle Beach, there's also a sign that says, no trespassing private beach beyond this point. That's not the beach. So they've taken 4 signs, one facing you as you approach the beach, one when you get to the beach at the post, which is at the bottom of the dunes, it says the same thing. And when you come to go off of the beach, there's one that says that, which that's not a beach, that's the dunes. And then when you get to the road itself, it says the same thing. So if they put that on every single part of their property, now they have 2 signs on every post, which if they're approved for 3, they have 6. Someone told me they thought they were approved for 6, but that's why I'm here. I know you guys have what they call the sunshine law, so it's pretty hard for you guys to talk about this amongst yourself unless somebody brings it up, and I'm bringing it up. I think that is a total sign pollution.
Are you saying that there's no beach signs on Old Ocean?
Yes.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
And then on
I'd be
the
happy to
east side of
show
the
you
dune
the picture.
is.
Yeah, there's pictures, but tomorrow there's an inspection made by the town manager. And she's gonna out and inspect those signs, part of the permit process. And if there's anything wrong with those signs, like what you're referring to, that's when it will get handled. And because there is, 2 sides of the sign, I believe there's only 1 side per post. So that's what her inspection is gonna be on for tomorrow. Okay?
Isn't
As
there
of
another
Saturday,
problem?
they were still
How did-
east
how did
and
Turtle
west.
Beach
I
put
ran by
up
and
a
have a
sign
video.
on Old Ocean?
That's why there's inspection.
Okay, because that
And
They
they,
have to
seems
pull the
like something the town would have to do,
Right. So that they pull the permit,
right?
inspections tomorrow, and then whatever inspection it comes up with, Lynn,
Mhm.
then she'll address those problems that are with those signs.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. Mr. Curry.
Greetings and congratulations to the winners of the election. Christopher Curry, 27 Tropical Drive. I'm kind of getting the feeling here that this is probably going to be considered premature. So I'm going to modify what it was that I wanted to say. At the last meeting, Commissioner Cassidy asked the town attorney what the status was on the magistrate's hearing. And the answer was that it was being worked on and somebody would be getting back to us. At this point in time, I have no idea whether or not it has been worked on, finished or otherwise. I just heard now that there's a an inspection tomorrow. And so obviously, we aren't quite there yet. However, I can tell you that from my observation of the way this is going, and by the way, I have to be perfectly honest with you, I did not have much hope for it from the outset, because I'm not one who believes that regulating the height of a sign and the size of the sign, the color of the sign, the location of the sign is going to solve the problem. The main problem is going to be solved by one thing and one thing only, and it's not a sign ordinance. It is the town and the town of Ocean Ridge taking responsibility for obtaining a judicial declaration of customary use of the subject beach areas. I have been advised by counsel that I, as a private individual and a private property owner, do not have standing to bring such, to initiate this action. It has to be done by a governmental entity, and that governmental entity would appear to be the town of Ocean Ridge. It may possibly, I'm sure that Palm Beach County would qualify, but I believe that the town of Ocean Ridge is probably in the front of the line here to initiate this. It is section 163.035 of Florida statute. It was passed in 2018, and it, as it says, it affirms, it doesn't create customary use rights. Those customary use rights are already in existence. In my case, they have been in existence for I'm into my 52nd year of living at the same address that I live at now. The customary use rights already exist. They were established by case precedent under City of Daytona Beach versus Tonorama. And all that needs to be done is that the town needs to get them affirmed under section 163.035. I will attempt to speak to town attorney Christy Gaudeau because I have felt constrained from doing so up until this point, but I've been encouraged to do it. So I will see if I can get some sort of an idea from her or give her some sort of an idea of what certainly my expectations and the expectations of hundreds of residents at 69 properties on the south end of town and the public have of the town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. Anyone else for public comment?
Way back in the dark ages, I believe the area we were talking about was Blue Ocean. And when they came in, there were maps drawn up so that everybody in Ocean Ridge had access straight through from the inland waterway to the ocean. And they could not be denied access to these areas. And the beach was supposed to be for all the people, not carved off for different groups. And we're again and again trying to get rid of our right-of-ways. They're supposed to go through so children can fish in the inland waterway and swim in the ocean. And I think we need to hold on to these right-of-ways and access to the ocean for everybody and the beaches for everybody.
Thank you, Patty.
Hello, everybody, and congratulations. Jill Scheibel, 6201 North Ocean Boulevard. And I really don't have comments. I have several questions for all of you in regards to the house next door to me, which is 6273 North Ocean Boulevard, the Pyramid Home. The home was supposed to be completed by the year end 2023. It was not. So my several questions for you are, a temporary CO was issued in February of 2024. So is there a fine currently being imposed from the end of 23 to February of 2024 when he got his temporary CO? And since he only has a temporary CO, I don't quite get how that all works, but visually from my home, looking at his home, he still has like orange cable wires running from the outside of the home into the inside of the home. And where the pyramid stands, I can see where like the entranceway would be, it's plywood. So I don't quite get how a temporary CO is issued under those circumstances. And my next question being, if it's a temporary CO and he's living in the house, which he is currently, is he now being assessed at true market value of his home? Is his tax rate now what should be? And then I was also wondering how long this temporary CO is issued for. Is it 30 days? And it was issued, I believe, February 15th, so now it's April 1st.
So I figured 4 questions there.
There's a lot of
Right.
questions, and I have.
Well, I mean, the 4
Okay.
questions you asked. Now, Christie, you want to address 2 of those or 3 of those? And Lynn, you'd probably get the one on how long the TCO is going to last for.
The TCO was issued in February. It expired in March. I have notified their attorney that it's expired. They have applied for an extension. That has not yet been granted. It came in before, I think, it came in after the building official was here on Friday, so that hasn't been reviewed yet or issued. So they're still have an expired TCO. If the building official renews the TCO, they still have to apply for a CO, which requires an application and documentation. I've notified their attorney that as of right now, I believe there are 12 days that are unexpired TCO, so we're expecting liquidated damages pursuant to the agreement for those 12 days that it's expired. If the building official grants a TCO to finish getting the CO, then that will continue to stay the liquidated damages for the period that they have a TCO.
And that was $5,000 a day?
I believe so. I didn't have a chance to check the agreement before I came here tonight, but yeah, I've notified him of that.
And what would, if they get another TCO, would be a 30-day?
No, it
No,
would
dear.
be the 90-day extension, and that's the only, the end of 90 days, they are not allowed to continue without the full CO. So there would be no extension.
But during that 90-day temporary CO extension, we are still, they're incurring penalties of $5,000 a day.
No, because it will stay, because the agreement is that once they have their TCO, that there's no liquidated damages. The problem was they got their TCO for 30 days initially, but it expired before they had everything completed and could get a CO. My understanding is the project is completed. All they have left to do is apply for the CO and provide all the documentation to the town. But as the clerk can attest to, the documentation is substantial to apply for that CO, and they have not submitted that application yet. That's what we're waiting on, but my understanding is there's not any outstanding inspection or work that needs to be completed.
Well, but it sounds like from what Mrs. Scheibels is saying is that the work is not done. It sounds like there are electrical wires hanging, there's, the doorway is still blocked off. Like, what kind of inspection schedule do we have?
It's based on each individual permit, and I believe, like, they just had one today that they passed the final electric, I believe it was.
It's a low voltage.
Low voltage.
So there's an orange, just to back up for a moment, there is an orange cord, and I guess this is like a cable wire running from the box, like the telephone pole or the, the electrical box into the house. So what is that being used for?
We'd have to have the building official look at it because I can't speak to.
And I've invited all of you to come over to my house sometime and look at the perspective of what I am looking at for the last 9 years, and nobody has ever taken me up on that. And I don't get how they're issued a temporary CO when the house is really should not be occupied, and how do you reissue a temporary CO? It sort of seems like ridiculous what has been able to go on with this home.
We're making progress to the end. I mean,
Really?
where we're getting a TCO, we had all the litigation, And at this point, it's in the hands of the building official. And also you have to remember that there's a lot of things that are from the state of Florida Building Department we have to follow. Terms and limits to a TCO and time of a TCO and time of a CO. So those are items that we try to get it completed, but there are items that we have to do by law. The building official has to do by Florida state statute. So
Well,
at this point, I think we've answered the questions
There's two outstanding questions. They were fined $50,000 on December 31st. You're aware of that, right? And then the other thing was the tax, Lynn can speak to this, or Christie can better than me. My understanding is they will be paying their property tax on the full value in 2024. Is that correct?
The 2024 tax roll will be on the full value. We will not collect tax on that until 2025,
Correct.
which is why we had the $50,000 penalty for it not being on the rolls by the beginning of 2024.
And the $50,000 was our share of their property tax.
Okay,
Right.
so I guess I'm a little confused in regards to the 5,000 a day fine then. So when is that sort of, the clock start running on that?
That was what was collected during the period that they didn't have a valid TCO. It had expired and they hadn't applied for a new one.
But now they don't have a valid TCO again. So that $5,000 a day is accruing currently since March 15th?
Well, I believe the date is March 20th was the date that their TCO expired, so
Mhm.
starting that next day, the 21st until now.
And you know what? So today's April 1st. They were living in that house after March 20th.
With
Well,
no
we're gonna have
with no
to-
TCO.
We'll make a note of that
Right.
and we'll
I mean,
talk to
I
the
don't know
building
what the
official.
dates were, but there were people living there.
Can we maybe agree, like each of us, I've seen it, but to go over and take a look for yourselves?
I think
Sorry.
it's up to each individual commissioner to contact Ms. Shavels. But Ms. Shavels, thank you.
One more question. The cones in front of the house, when are they being removed? The cones, the work cones.
I don't know the answer to that question. That'd be a discussion for our town manager with the building official to find that out.
Oh, I just thought of one more thing, if you don't mind. So I suppose, reading in the newspaper article, he was supposed to have a front gate installed in the house. Is that correct? Off of the
Well,
roadway?
now we're getting into areas where the building official would have to be involved with these questions, because now we're getting into how the house is built, what fences would be someplace, and that's not really the purview of the commission to answer those type of questions, because we may not know the answer.
So am I the one that's responsible then for talking to the building official?
No, but you have made your questions very clear, and the town manager is writing them down right now, and she will
Okay.
talk to the town building official, and she will contact you.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your help, your time, your effort in all of this, and, yeah, I love Ocean Ridge.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? All right. Hearing none, this public comment's closed. We're headed to the the approval of consent agenda.
So can I make a comment on this? We moved 10 to 11A, and we probably should have moved it to 13A or 13B, right? Because don't you, right?
No, we'll just do it right after.
Yeah, he wants to do it after we do the mayor and the vice mayor
Right.
election.
Instead of breaking it up. First thing we should do is mayor and vice mayor.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that your,
Yeah, that's
you're the one who
fine.
changed it? Here. Carolyn, is that what you want to do?
What, move to the regular agenda? Doesn't matter.
No,
which
we're
order.
moving it to 13A now.
Sure.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, any other discussion?
Just maybe a little update on the EAR notification letter, that once we get the state approval on that is when we will schedule public hearings for
Correct.
the comprehensive plan? Okay.
Correct, but it is due today, so it will go out via email this evening after the meeting. It's already set on automatic, and then the state has 30 days to respond.
Okay.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. All right, now to the regular agenda items. Kelly?
we've got the resolution 2024-02 is a resolution of the election of the mayor. I don't know if you, Commissioner Ayla, did you want to discuss anything before?
I don't want to discuss.
No, I'm good.
So I want to discuss something. A few people have come up to me, and there's some confusion out there. There is no rule that a mayor cannot be reelected. In fact, Ken Clear was mayor for 12 years, you were mayor for 12 years. There were two commissioners that desired to be mayor. So they created this rule out of whole cloth that you had to have a different mayor each year. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That's falsehood. It's not part of the town charter. It's not part of the ordinances. So you can vote for whoever you want for mayor as long as you want. The only restriction on the mayor would be that a commissioner can't serve more than 9 years without taking a break for 1 year. Having said that, my second point, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I think we got a great situation here with Jeff as mayor, me as vice mayor, and it's working very well, smoothly, I would say, which is great for the town. So I just want my fellow commissioners to be aware of that. Thanks.
That's some politicking you did there.
And
no sign.
For
You had no
you.
sign.
So I will be passing down the ballots. You just mark who you want, and then I'll collect your ballots. This is for mayor.
Thanks. Did you know about electronic reach stuff? Did you know electronic reach stuff?
No.
Okay, congratulations, Jeff. You've got mayor done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
So now I've got the ballots for vice mayor. Just don't vote for Jeff. Can you put your name at the bottom? Your
Yes,
name at the
I am.
bottom.
Oh, I didn't sign the last. You're invalid.
What is it?
Recount.
Can't certify the election.
Again, we've got another unanimous. Steve, your vice mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now we can move on to the regular,
And Mr. Mayor, we actually have to approve the resolutions.
oh, okay. So we really should have done that right after the,
Yeah.
each one. All right, so you want to make a motion to approve, do we have to approve, we can approve them as one, can we not?
One at a time.
The general motion to approve both at the same time?
So I make a motion to.
Say no.
Yeah, I mean, in a weird way.
Approval of resolution 2024-02, a resident of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida, electing Jeff Pugh as mayor. I need a second.
Second. Okay.
It was all in yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one,
I can't do the next one to me.
Carolyn. Dave?
Yeah, sure. I move that we approve resolution 2024-03, resolution Town Ocean Ridge electing vice mayor.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, now 10A. Accept the proposal and authorize a classification and compensation study by Evergreen Solutions to complete a classification and compensation study. Lynn, let you lead the way on that.
Certainly. Last year during the budget process, compensation for the town's employees, both police and general operating, were brought up, and we wanted to compare with similar communities. The police department had several comparisons that were readily accessible, but for the staff in the building, the managers, the clerk treasurer, and the public works departments, the comparisons were not as accessible due to job consolidation and situations where the primary responsibility is also responsible for multiple functions that are part of different jobs. As we're getting ready to start FY25 budgeting and preparing to open the contract with PBA for the next police contract, the information that would be available in the comp and classification study, the benefits comparison, and a much-needed employee handbook update will enable the town manager and commission to budget and negotiate on solid ground. I want to make a point that I did reach out to all the managers in Palm Beach County. In the last 18 months, Evergreen, who has provided the proposal, has done or is doing a comp and class study for the town of Lake Park, town of Atlantis, and for Palm Beach Gardens. Those three have all used Evergreen. The city of Del Rey has done one in the last 18 months. They used an organization called Management Advisors Group International. The costs that ranged for each of those, Del Rey's cost them $35,000. I believe it was Palm Beach Gardens was $25,000. The Lake Park and Atlantis were both under $10,000. I also did reach out to another HR consulting firm and got a verbal cost for it, and they had said that it would be $22,000 to do a proposal for us, or to do a study for us. I really think that we need this. Ocean Ridge has never done a full comp and class study, at least not in the last 20 years. It will allow us also, as we go into the negotiations with the benefit comparison, to know where we are in terms of benefits that we offer. As we all know, the police department is a very competitive place for finding employees and keeping employees. So we want to make sure that we're not only competitive in our salaries, but in the benefits that we offer, which we have increased in the last year or two. But we want to make sure that we remain competitive so that we keep our police department fully staffed, or as close to fully staffed as possible.
Questions?
Yes. Have you talked to town managers in lake communities, size-wise? For instance, Gulfstream, Manalapan, Jupiter Inlet Colony. Did they undertake such a,
I know Jupiter Inlet Colony has in the past. I have talked to Eric Marmer, who is the assistant now in Manalapan. They haven't in the past, but they are planning to as he moves forward. And Gulfstream, I have not talked to Greg about whether they've done them in the past. But I did, as I said,
because all the cities you cited were large cities.
They are cities. They're not our next door neighbors, but these were the only ones that responded to my question. That doesn't mean they haven't done them or that they don't have an internal HR department that can take that on.
Sure, you guys have questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this at all. We're a very small town. We're bordered by two small towns. I don't think we've had anybody quit here who we didn't want to quit in 20, 30 years, right? Has anybody left? Any town
Chief
employee
Jones,
left?
or are you saying that
Well,
the better
town
benefits and
Right, but they-
compensation?
Town managers left a lot.
Yeah, but they were encouraged to.
No, I'm talking about Chief Jones for the police department last year when he left
Yeah,
for
that's
better pay and
debatable.
benefits.
So,
well-
and by the way, you're not even including the police in this because it says in the first line, they have ample means of,
They do, but this study does
yeah.
include the police.
So anyway, you know I'm not a fan of this. We're also spending $19,000 for what? For what you could do in 2 phone calls, well, I guess 2 long phone calls, one to Gulfstream and one to Manalapan. You could go choose a couple other places that are barrier islands. I think you have to be our size, our geography. I don't want to hear about the west coast of Florida towns. Doesn't do me any, doesn't make me happy. So I would say take the $19,000. From my discussions with the town staff, there seems to be 2 town staff members that need to be bumped significantly. And you have $19,000 to do it with, instead of spending $19,000 on an outside consultant who's going to tell us to go and spend the exact amount of money we're spending that you want to spend for the increases. So we're going to spend $19,000 for you to get your desired results that everybody needs more money, instead of taking the $19,000 and adding it to the pool of money that we could give as raises. In particular, taking care of the 2 people that you know aren't up to where they should be, which indicates we already have some knowledge of what these jobs should be paying. So I'm not a fan of bringing in a consultant to tell us how much to pay Kelly, to tell us how much to pay you, to tell us how much to pay Billy.
And it sounds from reading this, it's like most of what they're doing is here in-house. It's not like when we had our budget meeting on August 7th, you were listing all the communities and what they paid a town clerk. I just was listening to it again today. So if you need help making those phone calls and reaching out to other towns as to what, commensurate jobs in other communities pay, I can help you with that. Like, I'm with Steve. I don't agree with hiring a consultant for $19,000 to get the result that you want, which is to justify increasing salaries based on that work.
Our job descriptions are not unilaterally comparable to Gulfstream and to Manalapan. Our town clerk does additional things, including building specific things that the town clerks in Gulfstream and Manalapan don't do. But that should be taken into account when you're coming up with their salary. It also should be taken into account when you're identifying their job description. Our job classifications here are also grossly outdated. The only 2 salaried individuals that are salaried exempt in the town of Ocean Ridge are the police chief and I. Everyone else is salaried non-exempt if they're a salaried employee, which means that they're fully eligible for overtime, which, based on even mild comparisons of what those jobs duties are in other communities, they should not be eligible. They should be classified as salaried exempt, but they're not. But again, without rewriting all of the job descriptions, we're not going to be able to change the classifications. The employee handbook has not had a complete overhaul in several years. We've added policies, we've made some tweaks to some policies, but overall the employee handbook itself has not been updated. And that's 5,000 of this is a complete redo of the employee handbook. You're asking me to take on additional responsibilities of doing the handbook, of redoing the classifications, of talking not just to the communities, but collating all of that information. What on my desk, what on my list of projects that I'm working on, do you want me to put aside?
Not asking you to put anything aside.
Then,
but I have a question though along that.
I
We have a town clerk, but we also have a deputy town clerk, and we also have a deputy building clerk who helps Lindsay. So there are different tiers. It's not.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. There are positions that we don't have good classifications and compensation.
We did the classification within the past 5 years.
You did a phone call to multiple communities.
No. We did an in-house write of the job descriptions. That's somewhere in this building.
Well, those job descriptions are extremely incorrect because we have a treasurer that is classified as a non-exempt employee, and the job description, job duties for a traditional town treasurer qualifies them to be an exempt employee. And their salary level currently would qualify them to be an exempt employee.
Lynn, are we paying a lot of overtime to all of those different positions right now?
We have one position that we've already paid $20,000 in overtime this year.
What position?
That's the treasurer.
That's the treasurer. And her base salary is $98,000.
Right.
All right,
And
so
that should be an exempt position, but the way the job description is currently written, it is not. And I have checked with the labor attorney with Christie's firm about that.
all right, let me take this a different road here. Every single budget year, we do this. every single one. We ask, we're going to be a raise, and then the commissioners ask the town manager, how much do other people pay? Every single year. So how long does this comprehensive study, let's face it, how long would it be good for?
5 to 10 years. We wouldn't need to change job classifications again. If they put it together with ranges, our ranges should be good. Minor, adjustments as necessary due to big events, like most recently, the significant cost of living increases that were not calculated in anything that had been done 5, 10 years ago. If there were another significant event there where we had double-digit inflation and CPI, we may have to look at things, but otherwise for 5 to 10 years, the study should be good.
Those ranges were just redone, right?
Well, no, it wasn't finished.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. So it seems to me there's almost three different things here. One is the compensation study to figure out if the town of Ocean Ridge, where are they in the spectrum of pay for cities that are like in size?
Right, it also does all the job classification.
Right, see, that's, I think, the separate thing, because, you're right about the employee handbook. We had one of the commissioners here, she actually was instrumental in actually creating that handbook. And if it's not been updated in how many years?
I'd say at least 10 to 20, yeah.
Well,
Have a big override.
Well,
We've added policies to it and we've subtracted things, but we haven't done a complete rewrite.
you're making my point for me. To me, that's important, the employee handbook, getting that up to where it needs to be, because that's something that everybody looks at to see what my job description is. And if you're going outside your job description, you know how that works in HR. So the compensation study, though, I remember Jean used to do the compensation study. Like you said, she'd make the phone calls to each one of the surrounding communities, how much you pay here, how much you pay here, and it came into us with that information. So is there a way, $19,000 is a lot of money, but I think that one of the most important thing is to at least get the handbook fixed.
Right, there are 3 different levels.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
$9,500 does the comp and class. That gets all of the job descriptions reviewed, updated, and properly classified, and does the compensation.
Right, but they're charging $5,000 more to update the employee handbook.
Correct.
So it seems to me in their bid here, the task goals are to gather all pertinent data, finalize remaining contractual negotiations, establishing final timeline for all project milestones and deliverables, and finalize the project plan with the town. And then the task activities go, and to your point, Carolyn, it's all in-house here, it seems. When do they actually go and speak to the outside communities to get the actual compensation study? I guess my question.
That's in.
Terry, enjoy the basketball game.
It is.
I'm sorry.
It is under task activities, if you look on page 11 or 12, under key milestones for
It's only 10
task
pages long.
5.0.
It's only 10 pages long.
Yeah, I got 10. I guess what I'm saying is that,
Sorry, I was looking at the ones in the green. On page 5 of 10. If you look at the key milestones under the 5 point, they'll develop an initial list of survey peers, those are the other communities, and then they will finalize that list of survey organizations and contacts. They will do an external labor market salary survey under 6.0, provide those results to me for review. So that's when they go out and they talk to all of the comparison communities. The comparison communities
where was
are
that? Hold on, where was that?
on page 5.510, the
Task
key
six.
project milestones and task 6, the task goal.
Oh,
And the comparative organizations will have characteristics of similarity in the size of the organization, geographic proximity to the Ocean Ridge area, economic and budget characteristics, and other demographic data.
all right, so I guess my point is, this is for the budget, so we can find out if we're commensurate with the rest of these small towns,
For the
right?
budget and for the PBA negotiation.
And for the PBA. For that,
We don't need it
actually,
for the
that's, well, hold on, for that, it's 9,500,
Correct.
right? Not 19,000.
Not 19, 9,500.
So,
So the other two items are potential add-ons. That's the benefits review, comparison, and the employee handbook.
I thought you were
Look
going
on
in the other
page 10
direction,
of 10.
that we should spend the 5,000 to get the job descriptions in the
well,
handbook.
yeah, I'm going in both directions at the same time.
Oh, you're confusing me.
Yeah, I know, I'm confusing myself some little bit, but the thing is the 9,500 is for getting the study, and then the 5,000 is for changing the handbook.
Correct.
So they're all kind of all over the place with these numbers. I mean,
Now, if you look
how
at
much
the-
would it cost just to do the can we like get a different
The
proposal?
handbook is 5,000.
Just to change the
Standalone.
handbook?
Just to completely to update and review and overhaul the handbook.
I would go for that. I would break that out and say, let's do that.
But
Who's done it in the
that doesn't
past?
include- That doesn't include the job classification, which would help us switch people from getting paid overtime to not overtime. I think we
Why doesn't it?
need to be able to do that. Well, because they haven't done the job classification. The job classifications are what determine that, isn't it?
That's the 9,500.
Yeah, well, because they've got that bundled with the
Right.
comp study, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a comp and classification
Right.
study.
But when we
to me,
update the
the
employee
class study we
handbook-
need, we need to, we shouldn't have people getting paid overtime
No, it's
that are in
great.
these positions.
By the way, did you guys
We pay
know
$20,000, that's more than the study
that-
cost.
the treasurer was being paid overtime? I've been up here for
I
what,
didn't
8
know
years?
that.
Well,
First time I
when
heard
this
it
came
right
up,
now.
that was the
It's always
question.
been in
That's
the
why,
budget.
That's
Ed.
what drove this?
yeah.
That's what
But
drove this request.
I would think that the town manager would alert, I'm not blaming you because there's been town managers before you. Has this been going on with the other town managers too?
Yes, it's continuous. It's been in the budget every year.
Even when they worked on the handbook
Wow.
before?
Mhm.
That's shocking.
All right, so we see how it's broken apart.
I don't-
Did you beat them up?
They haven't really broken it out though, here.
And the last page is broken out. Because you've got the cost timeline for the comp and class. And then our cost for the following optional items, conduct the benefit study and conduct update the employee handbook.
Why can't we put in what Ain is asking for underneath the umbrella of the employee handbook and get a quote for how much that would cost? That would take care of your problem, right?
That's
Well-
that's 15 grand, right?
Well, it's
I'm
probably
lost
half
on
of the
that.
9,500 or something.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if they would do that. We'd have to ask them if they would do
I
that.
don't know if they would do just the classifications. I mean, they could, but,
So how much would it cost the town to have the town employees do the classification study like we've done every single year? Being in, the time it costs and what it costs
The
for
class
employee.
study- The class study, I mean.
Because they did it, they've done it every year and it's all over the place.
well, we've done the
what-
comp study, not the
No,
classification.
The classification
Well, I'm sorry.
study is if you don't pay somebody overtime and it's determined that you should have been paying them overtime, then we have a big problem.
Right.
So you want to have that done right, not by people that don't know what they're doing. I don't think it's that expensive probably to have them do the class study. I don't know if they'll do the classification study.
I don't know if they'll do it separate.
Right, but that, I get exactly
Can I ask
right.
you a
See, what
question?
happened
Sure.
is,
How many employees are we talking about for this $19,000 study?
For the $9,500 study, it is 29 current employees, and we have 3 openings in the PD currently.
Well, my understanding is with the union, the police union, we deal with them until they determine all that. So really, all we're
It's
talking
only-
about is the town
Now,
staff.
with the union, we want to know what we think is reasonable. You don't want to just let the union tell us what they want to get
But we hire a
paid.
labor lawyer every year who represents us and knows exactly what the union's pressure for and what they'll accept. So I don't know how we got the police involved in this.
Why wouldn't you have the police
Because
department
I think the
involved?
police
Because they're all
raises and
city
the town
employees.
staff raises have to be done in totally separate
I
Just
understand
like we
they're
discussed them
done
last summer.
separately, but
and
They are still
discussed
part of the
separately.
town.
I don't think we don't need some outside authority to come in here and tell us what we have to pay the police, because we're gonna have to pay the police whatever the hell the union tells us we have to pay.
no,
Yeah.
it's negotiable, Steve. We don't.
I know it's negotiable, but it's never negotiated down.
Well, not if you're going to tell them they can have whatever they want in a public
So
meeting.
back to my question. I don't understand. The employee handbook, I can live with the employee handbook, a description of the jobs, but I don't understand that if we're gonna describe the jobs, why they can't get to the classification of what these jobs are. We're only talking 6 people. And if you don't want to include Billy, it's 5 people.
Well, I
Right.
would include Billy. Why wouldn't I include Billy?
Some or other, he seems outside this, but fine, he's included. So you get the manager, the town manager, the the town clerk, deputy town clerk, Susan, I don't know what her title is,
Admin
the
assistant.
building official, Lindsay, and the treasurer. And now Billy,
And Danielle, who is now,
who's Danielle.
she is the,
She's
she's the new
contract.
The
building.
what?
Assistant building.
Danielle is contract.
Okay, so we're now up to 7 people plus Billy, and we used to run this whole thing on 3 people.
You have the manager.
And now we
clerk,
need a study to tell us what to do with these 7 people.
The manager, the clerk, the deputy clerk, you have the admin assistant, you have the treasurer, you have the building clerk. We have a contract building clerk, and that takes the place of the building official and the part-time building inspector that we had. And then we have the public works supervisor and the public works maintenance 1.
Back to my
So
question.
9 employees.
So in the course of updating the employee's handbook, can we deal with Ana's concern that we get classifications included in that?
I would have to ask them if they
Okay.
would break that apart separately.
I would go for that. I
Compensation.
wouldn't go for this whole package.
And back to the compensation part, it just, I'm trying to be objective here, but for someone to come in and work with Lynn, who's part of those to be compensated, it just doesn't
I had
seem.
already talked with Lynn and
It's
Christie.
not that they work with me. They find out the information we have and they do a survey of all the employees. All they do for me, other than my survey, is report back their final findings. It's not like, I don't like the way that you have.
We did talk about this in our one-on-one meeting, and I said that if we were gonna go with this, I thought the only way we should do it is if the consultant reports to the commission, not to Lynn. Because you normally wouldn't have a consultant come in and tell the person that they're reporting to how much they're gonna get paid. You know, it's kind of a conflict, so I would just rather have them.
Normally, a compensation study is not a individual dollar amount, it's ranges. So they're not going to tell me, okay, Lynn, you're gonna make $142,599 next year rather than the $500 you make this year. They're going to create and make sure that our ranges are proper.
See, we've done.
They make their presentation to the commission. It states it in their final paragraph that the cost includes an on-site visit to the town to present the final report. That would be at a commission meeting or a budget workshop.
So my question still remains, what's going to cost the town in employee time and effort to do the compensation study? Not the rest of the shoot match here, but the compensation study, which is, again, kind of like we've done over and over every single year, is the phone calls to different cities and gave them a list. A lot of them actually, especially with the head of the clerks right here sitting with us, that could be something that we could do, but how much would that cost us in time and effort? Is it going to be equal to what we're paying here? See, that's the question. So which is it? And as the
If
town.
we have to do it every year versus the cost of the longevity of this study, yes, it's going to. Kelly and I contacting not just Manalapan, not just Gulfstream, but say Palm Beach Shores.
Well, I mean, you don't have to go that crazy over. Let's face it, you're going to do 6 municipalities within Palm Beach County that are equal in size of us, and that's all we're looking for. Because if that's what's going to be equal. Now, the other thing, if you want to say, well, we want to go outside of Palm Beach County to hire other people, but right now, I mean, let's face it, we have a very good staff, and we have very good police department, and I think we've been paying everybody pretty darn well every year after year. And I understand that too, but also I want to spend money on something that we don't really need to have a compensation study when we can literally get a list of 6 different municipalities, hear the job descriptions, throw it out to the town clerk's thing. I know it's going to cost Kelly time and effort and everything else. I get that. But is that going to be half as amount that what I'm paying this company? And if it is, I'd rather get it from somebody I know than somebody I don't. But the other thing, but the town handbook has to be updated because that's something that could be legally very dangerous for us.
Agreed.
So that would be, to your point,
Yeah.
very important that we do.
I think the classifications for sure also, I would like let's just make sure we have the right documentation on
So
who should get overtime and who shouldn't get overtime.
So how about this? Can you go back to them and say, look, we're looking for a classification study and we're looking for the handbook. Can you give us some kind of different proposal for that?
Yeah, I can go back to them for that.
All right.
And I'm happy to help too, you know, in reaching out to other town managers, see them every month, with public comment.
You gotta come up to the dais and, we're gonna do public comment on it anyway, so.
Tim Cassidy, I guess a quick question. How long is this gonna take? And will this be available for the season budget? Because the budget's coming up.
It's gotta be.
So is
Yeah.
it gonna be ready for?
The proposal as submitted had a deadline to have us the information and have it presented by June 10th of 24 for the budget season.
Well, if you'll find out, and if they can do the same, you know, what they can do, bring it back in May, and then we'll make a decision. And we'll have to live by the decision during our budget time.
You want to give the top money to Lynn now so she can just close the deal before the next meeting?
But we don't know what that's gonna be though. I mean, you could do if you would like to, but you don't know what exactly is coming back.
No, don't.
No.
But Lynn would.
But it's gonna be
We
less.
could
than
have,
what
we
they
could have
proposed.
a special meeting if we had to.
We can have a
Should we
special meeting
move
with
on?
that too as well. You like those special meetings all the time.
I do.
All right, so we have the general consensus.
I do.
But thanks for the work so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
We understand it, but
Thanks for bringing that to our attention, all the handbook issues and classifications.
all right, so the consensus is we're gonna push that to the May meeting and you'll get back to us some other information.
Yep.
All right. Moving on. Approval of the budget meeting calendar.
As we have been talking this evening, budget season is quickly approaching. The proposed calendar is for us to do a goal-setting workshop on the 15th of April. That was sent very tentatively as we had not talked about a goal-setting workshop yet. So,
How apropos, the 15th of April,
you know,
tax day.
I understand, but none of us
I
are
mean,
here
come on.
accountants, so.
It works for me. I won't be here. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm unable on that date too. I think a few days later, yes.
All right, if we look at April, and the 15th is a Monday, which is why I picked it. We could go with the 22nd, which is the following Monday.
Any workshop during that time period, I will not be here. I'll be out of
Oh,
the country for an
yes.
extended trip. Like
When do you return?
June 1, let's say.
Steve.
Wait a minute. No, June 4.
What about April 17th? Could we do a different day?
Can't do it.
I'm
Or
going.
I can't.
Well, you could always turn in your,
Sure.
you could turn it in as a outline for us to follow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your requests.
Yeah.
Later that week, I am not available. I've got different things going on. My calendar.
What week are you on now? You're on,
So that would take us to the week of the 22nd.
Works for me.
22nd.
22nd.
April 22nd.
April 22nd.
And what time do we want to do it? I had it tentatively set at 5 o'clock, but tell me what time, is that okay?
Well, why don't we do it during the day? I mean, usually it doesn't take that much time.
I'm
Usually like an
fine with
hour.
that. I tried to accommodate individuals that might need to work.
Are you referring to me, Lynn?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. But I could do any time during the day. You guys want to do it like 1 o'clock?
Sure.
That's good.
Is that good, Kelly?
Yep.
That way the staff doesn't have to, we have to pay them overtime to actually work after 5?
Good point.
All right, then we have the presentation and preliminary approval of an updated 5 and 10-year CIP plan at the regular June meeting. Lisa and I are working on updating the CIP right now.
Okay.
The first workshop, and this is where we have questions. The way I have it set is the first workshop would be at the July 1 meeting. with a presentation of the budget draft and for the commission to set the proposed maximum mill levy at that point. Then a second workshop on August 5th before the regular meeting for you to vote on the finalized budget. I think it will go a whole lot simpler this year with the new finance system as everything just gets put in and we'll actually be able to make changes and see the updates live in the system. Then our regular meeting is on Tuesday, September 9th, and that would be the preliminary budget hearing. And then 2 weeks later, on Monday, September 23rd, the final hearing and adoption of the budget.
It looks good to me. Everybody else?
All right.
So
All right.
since last week, so.
Do you need motion?
Actually, if I could get a motion that way, I can let the county know exactly what our budget calendar is.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion?
I just want to clarify, the first meeting is going to be April 22nd on that. So
Yes,
that's
at
the
1
change
p.m.
we're making.
Yeah, that's the change.
At 1 p.m.
And
Any public?
when do we anticipate getting budgeted, our audited financials?
Everything was turned over to the auditor this weekend. He said he's hoping to have it for us for our May meeting.
And I'm sorry.
Any public comment?
Who made the first motion?
Steve?
You know.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, let's move on to the approval of the award of North Ocean Boulevard Water Main Pipe Enhancement Project. Lynn?
All right, on February 5th, the town reissued the invitation to bid for the town's North Ocean Boulevard Water Main Enhancement Project. We held a mandatory pre-bid meeting on February 13th, and the invitation to bid required all bids be submitted by March 1. On March 1, the town held a public bid opening, which revealed a receipt of 2 bids from Foster Marine Contractors with a bid amount of $2,483,990.60, and GT General Contractors of $1,427,646.40. You can see the attached bid tabs for more information. The town staff has reviewed the bids to make a determination as to the qualifications, responsiveness, and responsibility of the 2 bidders. In making its determination, the town is required to consider the qualifications of all bidders and whether their bid complies with the prescribed ITB requirements. The bid is then to be awarded to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, whose evaluation by the town indicates that the award will be in the best interests of the project and town. Specifically, in its review, town staff reviewed each bidder's submitted qualifications questionnaire, a required document to be included with each document. Attached is our review of the summary. As noted for GT General Contractors, it did not utilize the current qualification questionnaire, and its specific responses to the questions were either with dated information that did not satisfy the qualification criteria, or no information was provided in response to the specific criteria requests. Foster Marine utilized the current form and provided recent qualifying project experience and was otherwise responsive to the qualification questionnaire. Town staff also looked at the qualification criteria set forth in the site work section of the ITB, including qualifications that are required for the directional drilling contractor, which was 10 years experience and a minimum of 10,000 linear feet. GT General Contractors was non-responsive as to the qualifications of its directional drilling contractor. Foster Marine provided a response that its directional drilling contractor has 10 plus years of experience, but did not otherwise provide a response on its bid to the linear feet qualification criteria of the site work section. Since the ITB, it is not clear that the qualification criteria set forth in the site work section needed to be submitted with each bid. Town staff is not recommending any determination based on either. Bidders' failure to include specific responses to the site work section in their bid. Since GT Contractors' bid failed to be responsive to all questions in the qualification questionnaire and failed to provide information showing it satisfied the basic qualification criteria, its bid should be rejected as non-responsive and failing to establish the basic qualifications. Accordingly, town staff recommends Foster Marine for award of the ITB as in the best interest of the project in the town. A recommendation for award consistent with the foregoing was posted March 13th, 2024 on Demand Star and the town's website and at Town Hall. Staff recommends Foster Marine for award of the ITB as in the best interest of the project in the town.
How many linear feet?
Information.
How many linear feet would we be doing? 3,000?
It's a little over 3,000.
That's $833 a foot. That's a lot.
You doing per foot? How much is it?
Linear foot. $833.33 a foot.
Wow.
I did talk to Lisa last week at our League of Cities lunch, and she said that, I guess this contract, the GT, is only bonded to $1.5 million. So, and she has been warned by other municipalities that, to avoid them because they'll bid at a number less than that, and then they're known for change orders. And even when you look at just the directional bore is a huge part of the cost. And they're saying, it's $1 million of Foster Wheeler, but it's only 432. Is that the kind of thing where we're going to get a whopped with change order after change order?
That was Lynn's.
Well, so you're recommending it for Foster Marine then? Yeah, for the extra $1 million, you're gonna, if you get to use the GT guy, he's gonna come in after he's all done at the same money we're paying for this Foster.
Cost plus.
I mean, where's the money coming from?
And he just doesn't have the track record here at all.
The money right now is coming from the ARPA funds, which is $900,000. I'm also recommending that we use the $950,000+ that we have from infrastructure surtax. We've set it aside for septic to sewer, but we have found out that that surtax is not going to be renewed. So it will be sunsetting in 2025.
What?
The infrastructure surtax, that we get about 100, because the county is not moving forward with a ballot initiative for the infrastructure surtax to renew it.
So we gotta come up with 700,000?
So we'd have to come up with 700,000. My thought is we can use cash reserves for that. We're getting roughly $1,049,000 back if we get the FCT grant approved, which we'll know for sure in May. And that is money that we had already anticipated not being in our reserves, so that would be a good use for it. Otherwise, we would just use regular cash reserves.
Can we use that?
We can use that, but until they have their final meeting in May, there's no way to count on
Jeff,
it without counting on it.
I was concerned when I had my one-on-one with Lynn about it looking like, we had kind of one disqualified bidder and one valid bidder. So it looks like, gee, it's not much of a competitive bid. There was a third bidder that wanted to bid, but they failed to show up for the pre-bid conference. So they were disqualified because they didn't show up. That bidder, however, was one of the ones that did bid in the initial cycle, and their bid was 2.8 million. And since that bid, we expanded the scope, Lynn, we added something to it.
We added testing.
So my feeling is that if we would have let them in, we couldn't let them in because technically the rules said they couldn't be in. But I think if we would have let them in, they probably would have bid close to $3 million. And somehow that made me feel more comfortable that if we would have had a 3 million and a 1.5 and a 2.4, and we know that the 1.4 is
questionable.
They're questionable. Basically, nobody would put it in writing, but everybody we've talked to has said, don't go with these guys. So I got more comfortable with it after understanding that part.
Is the 2.8, remember we did this like last year or 9 months ago, and only one bidder ended up bidding?
No, the first time we bid, we had two bids.
Yeah.
The low bidder this time also bid the first time. He actually bid less at that time, by like 100,000.
The same guy that.
The same guy that was
This
GT General Contractors, yes. And then we had a company out of Dade County,
It was the 2.8?
that was the 2.8.
Okay. Gotcha.
And they were the ones that originally expressed an intent to bid. They just didn't show up for the pre-bid conference.
Right, they contacted me the week after the pre-bid and apologized, said that they missed the pre-bid meeting, they understood it was mandatory. Was there any way that we could authorize them to go ahead and bid?
So we couldn't do that, but I think they would have come in way higher because they weren't going to lower it from last bid, would be my guess.
So worst case scenario, we got to come up with 700,000.
Yes,
Best case scenario, it's already covered.
correct.
So what's the pleasure, Commission?
I think it's great. I just think we make a motion. You want to do public comment? What do you
We'll
want?
do that after we make a motion.
All right, I move to award Foster Marine as the contractor for the water main pipe enhancement project. Do we need to label which project it is at the north end of town?
No, you can call it the North Ocean Boulevard.
North Ocean Boulevard.
Second.
The motion is second, public comment. We're starting on our water project, pipe project, which is really good for the town.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, no public comment. Any other discussion from the commission?
I
Hearing
think
none?
Ingenuity did a great job. You all did putting this all together. This will,
Okay.
you know.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Lynn. All right. All right, staff and committee reports. Lynn?
I'm not going to read through my report, it's in
Thank
the
you.
package, but I do want to point out the bank RFP deadline is this Friday. So that will most likely, depending on how many we get and the complexity of them, be in front of you in May for a decision. We've had 4 or 5 different banks reach out with questions that they wanted answered, so I think we're going to get, hopefully we'll have a good response. PD is working on their hiring. We had hoped to have a new employee in the Public Works Department by tonight, but we've run into a snag with MD Now that does our employment physicals, and we've been trying for 2 weeks to get the results of the employee physical and been unable to get it from them. So, until we get that, they don't want to give notice at their current job, and so probably by May, we will have a new Public Works employee and possibly some additional new employees in the PD. Things are going well. We've gotten quite a few compliments on how things are moving in the building department. So I think the building department in the last year, 15 months has really made some improvements. And so I'm happy with how things are going.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I think we all are.
Yeah.
Christie?
Mayor, I do not have a road report tonight. I was going to talk about 6273, but since we've already talked about that, I've nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How about you, Chief?
My report's in your packet. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I will add that you just mentioned the FCT grant. I took the representative out last night, Thursday, with Billy to see the island. So the boat actually kind of paid off.
Yeah.
He was able to get pictures of the island for his report. The mayor pointed out to me too, there was a potential problem with, I've noticed it too, with Amazon deliveries. They've come out with Amazon Flex, where to honor their delivery in a day, private individuals can come to the Amazon warehouse in their own vehicle and pick up packages and deliver at off hours, which means 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. These drivers don't have any markings on their car or on their uniform, and they're coming up to your door to deliver packages. So we did reach out to Amazon, kind of hard to reach out to them, and made a request that they at least try to help us by putting markings on their car, wearing a uniform if this practice is going to continue. So we're working on that right now. We're going to host, we did a CPR class here for the residents here. It was a hit, so Brian Breezes has requested one. We'll be holding a CPR stop the bleed and AED course for them April 9th.
Fantastic. You're going to take a show on the road then?
Taking on the road.
All right.
I've got one question. Still have the problem with dogs on the beach. I know nobody wants to touch it. Easter morning, I went over and I was with another neighbor, and that neighbor pointed out to a person who showed up in a big truck, unloaded chairs, all kinds of stuff, and the dog, and they're going to just walk out on the beach and watch the sunrise. I get the sunrise part, but they weren't at all polite, And when it was brought to their attention, the dog wasn't supposed to be on the beach, the person became rather aggressive. Now, I know I should have contacted somebody in the force, but we've got to resolve this dog business. And I think we either have to accept it or we need to raise the penalty above $25 to discourage it. And I'm a dog person, but it's just being routinely disregarded.
Well, nobody's enforced it, except for the last 2 months, we started to enforce it with the violations. Dogs on the beach, I think, are like speeders. I don't think you're ever gonna get rid of every dog on the beach, and there is an exclusion with the service dogs. In February, which my report is, we wrote 7 citations and gave out five warnings, and the rest were service dogs. We are fining them. It's $25 for the first infraction, and then after, if there's repeat offenders, the fine does go up. But it'd be up to the council to raise the fine if they want to do so.
Chris, so you can raise that fine to anything we want?
Within reason.
Within reason? You have a good point, Dave.
Well, I don't do well when people get in my face, so.
That's why you should call.
I should have called you.
Because they are very confrontational.
Call Stella. Yeah. She's still here?
Anyway, I like to make sure that doesn't occur again to any resident in town. So I like dogs.
Well, yeah, and please don't, they
I'm
are
not an
competition,
enforcer.
so don't try to engage and just call us. We'd be more happy to go.
Well, I didn't really start it, but I got.
Well, if you want to, next meeting, come back to commissioner comment, or even during the regular put on the agenda item as a thing for the rest of discuss on raising the
Well, I
fine.
think that'd be a good idea myself.
There you go. You want to look into, Lynn, what other municipal, a comp study of what other municipalities may, charge, please?
Yep.
All right, Carolyn. Thank you, Chief.
So I had mentioned at the beginning the planning and zoning workshop, if we could move it to after the board appointments in May. So how about the Monday after? We were going to have it next Monday at 10 a.m. How about Monday, May 13th at 10 a.m.?
Oh, May, I can do that.
I'm sorry, what was that date?
May 13th.
May 13th, 10 a.m.
Okay, going to send out a notice and sounds good to me.
The other thing I just wanted to bring up, the League of Cities, which, as you know, I'm very involved with that now and enjoy that very much. We have our monthly meeting the last Wednesday of the month for all of Palm Beach County. And April 24th, it's going to be at the Green Acres Community Center. And they would very much like for all newly elected officials to attend. And they'll be doing EMO, the elected municipal official training, following the lunch. So it starts around 11:30, 11:45. You know it all.
No.
And I know Senator Berman's going to be here to speak about all the preemptive legislation that passed this year. And I'm very happy to say that our appropriation request successfully made it through the House and the Senate. And Commissioner Marcy Woodward for the county is helping us reach out to the governor for his final approval. So that's good. And just, little bragging rights, but I received the Home Rule Hero Award.
Wow, Home Rule Hero.
Lots of people do, but.
At least you get an award.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's a lot of work. Appreciate it.
I got 2.
Yes, sir.
I hope quick items. The first one, when I had my one-on-one meeting with Lynn, I was asking her, how do we go about evaluating you, Lynn, this year? What were your goals for the year? And it turns out she doesn't have any goals. At least she didn't have any that were assigned by the commission. So I would propose that we ask Lynn to do a self-evaluation. Her 1-year anniversary comes up on April 18th. That she provide to the commission a self-evaluation as to how she thinks she did against the things she thought were important. And that she also proposed to us what her goals should be for next year, so that then we have an opportunity as we go through the planning process to make sure that we align what she thinks is important with what we think is important to deliver on the projects that we end up approving in the investment, the budget process, et cetera. So this is nothing revolutionary. I'm sure it was just an oversight last year, but I would propose that we do that going forward. I'd be happy to be the point person to work with her on that if that's necessary.
I know Christy, have you sent out the evaluation forms?
No, not yet.
She is getting ready to send out the evaluation forms for my evaluation so that it can be done at the meeting in
Are they the same
May.
evaluation forms we have been using?
No, I don't believe so, because I don't think we did an evaluation for the last manager for last year.
Because it was turbulent, but we
Yeah.
do have a form.
Yeah, and I'll
Remember
send
that
you the
1 to
forms
5?
that
Yeah.
Lynn and I prepared. I think it's a good form. It does an overall good evaluation.
Is it
I'll
numerical?
go back and look at,
How do I rank somebody?
I think it provides a scale of like satisfactory, that type of scale. I'll send it to you, and if there's
Okay.
concerns.
I much prefer numbers. The one that I like, we used for, I don't know, up until 2 or 3 years ago, you rated somebody 1 to 5.
Yeah, it's like that.
I think
So-
it's useful when we do an evaluation to actually have the person's
No, I
self-evaluation to
agree with
look
you
at
too,
also.
sure.
So
Well,
let's
I
see how
kind
she
of,
thinks.
I mean, are you amenable to that idea of what your goals setting would be for the year coming up? So that we would know that your goals do align? That's really not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we're on the same page.
We talked about it. I thought Lynn
We
was
talked about that in my
acceptable,
one-on-one,
All
but
right.
it's
I mean,
a
that's
normal
a
thing.
really good idea.
Yeah.
And that way we're not arguing about, $9,500. What else you got?
The second item, maybe you won't like this one as much. I've now been in for 3 months and we've had these one-on-one meetings and Lynn meets, the whole leadership team meets one-on-one with 5 of us for 5 hours. And it seems inefficient to me. I'd like to propose that we give a try to, rather than on that Thursday, each of us having a 1-hour meeting and tying up the whole leadership team, that rather than that, we have a workshop where the 5 of us get together with the leaders, go through the agenda. For instance, that conversation we had earlier about, really, that's how people don't get paid overtime. No, we could probably wrestle a lot of that to the ground in that meeting. We'd have to make it open. We could have a webcam, or we could just make it open without comment. But it seems like that would free up, it probably wouldn't have to be more than an hour and a half, maybe 2, instead of 5 1-hour meetings for the staff. And because of the sunshine laws, we never really get a chance to hear what each other's opinions are on different items that are on the agenda. This would give us a chance to begin to table some of those ideas. So by Monday, we might be able to actually make a decision rather than still feeling like we're not in agreement and putting off some items for a month. I'd like to give it a try, but it's just an idea.
Does that work for sunshine laws?
I did talk with Christie, but there are other towns that do this.
Yes, as long as the meeting's posted and open, just like you would Sunshine. If it's just a workshop and you're not taking any official action, you don't have to allow public comment. That way you can just focus on the agenda, and have that discussion.
So we'd have kind of the same meeting that we have right
Yeah.
now, but it's just us talking to staff, and we don't really know how the rest of the commissioners feel about the same item.
But isn't the whole purpose of the meetings we have at night that's to flesh it out here, because that's when the people get to hear what our opinions of that opportunity. If we have a pre-meeting and people can't make it before that, it's like you have a meeting before the meeting.
But we're not taking
But we don't take any action.
Right, but
We
your
just
opinions
discuss
are
it.
out, so then we all make our own, we basically made our opinions and our decisions prior to the regular meeting, so that when we get here, it's almost a fait accompli with each agenda.
We wouldn't be able to make the decisions, we'd just be able to.
No, but then you
discuss
know how everybody thought, is I guess
We know
I
people
kind
have
of
different
like,
positions.
well, I think the back and forth sometimes, when we're here at night with the rest of the people here, they get to hear the back and forth. Where they're not gonna be able to do that.
That would be open to any citizen that wanted to be there.
Right, but a lot of folks don't have the time to go to meeting after meeting after meeting. It's just my opinion.
But
So-
they can listen.
I approach it from a different standpoint. I cherish my one-on-one meetings. And I think that, and I certainly hope this will develop with you because you're kind of new. I think I get more information out of the staff in my little personal meeting. You guys would be shocked, some of the stuff I'm told.
No.
And I wouldn't want to lose that. And I think it gives me an intimate look at how the town's run. You guys feel comfortable versus a more public environment. You wouldn't be as loose-lipped.
Who do you think started those?
You?
Yeah.
Good.
I like the one-on-one.
5 years ago. All right, well, Commissioner Hill, I appreciate it.
Don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah, that's a good
The
idea.
answer's always no.
I'd still want my private meeting, so it'd be 3 meetings.
Anything else?
Nope.
Anybody?
Yeah, there was a trash thing. I think you were gonna flop up a pick. I just want to know that we're dealing with this. This will deal.
Yeah, we found anybody to deal with it?
Yes, Keiko is, unfortunately, we were not able to get a hold of him early enough last week after we got their cost proposal to have them schedule Saturdays, but they will be there this weekend. They will be there through the month of April on Saturdays to pick up.
Well, we know that it's a timing thing too. It's, I mean, let's face it, after May, when everything starts dying down again, we're not gonna have the same problem. Let's face it, this was
Right.
Easter
It could be
Sunday.
seasonal.
Yeah,
Right now, we're only
I-
planning to continue the Saturdays
I thought
through
Lynn was
April.
going to the beach and would shoot Sunday evening. That's when I was interested. That's Sunday morning.
Yeah.
That's not even Easter Sunday at the close of day.
Well, I sure do not want to dissuade our residents from picking up trash on the beach and putting it in the trash cans, that's for sure.
No, so during the
So this
season,
Saturday, they
we
were
will have
full in the
Saturday
morning.
pickups.
Late
Because there's a
Saturday.
lot of people on the beach.
Has to
I will
be
do my
late
best to
Saturday or
get
Sunday.
late Saturday.
It can't be Saturday morning. That defeats the purpose.
So you
Well, they
are
were full Saturday.
taking care of this?
Yes.
All right, great. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Meeting adjourned for the night. See you in May.